is still going on, so we're waiting for folks to finish premiering the music video to come over. We just wanted the live stream to be live and ready to go when people come over. So, hi! Oh, and we've got some comments on the premiere, so I'm going to handle these comments as we're going. I don't know if anybody's with us at the moment, but the music video is almost done, so we're about to get the influx of our folks into this live stream. Me encanta lo que hacen y cómo lo hacen, mucho talento, dos personas hermosas. I think that's pretty nice. I'm not sure if we have. We look so goofy with our hats. Hi, Tracy. Oh, hi, Tracy.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. We didn't know we had anybody here with us. Hi. How's it going? Yeah, we're bundled up. We're kind of just staying warm. That's one of the updates we're going to talk about, is where we are parked and the current state of affairs here in Alaska. As you can see, it is the morning time, but you wouldn't know it because it's still dark out there. Oh, perfecto. Here, everybody's coming over. It's about finished. They should be redirected automatically if I set everything up correctly. I'll find out if my technical skills fail me today. Tracy, how's it going where you are? What's the weather like? What's the latest? Alrighty.
So
there we go.
Nice.
Ah! There we are. Hey! Tracy says, it's beautiful. You're up in Washington, right? Hey, Christian. Yay! So the move from the premiere over here, it was smooth, yeah? Worked well? It's nice to not fail at these things sometimes. Half the time I fail at it. Finally getting some rain. Don't you guys always have rain? Uh-oh. Climate change, man. All right, awesome.
Yeah,
Well, it looks like
smooth.
we are live and we're smooth. That's amazing. We only got 2 bars of signal right now, so we
didn't know
we were
if
not
it was
sure.
gonna work.
So welcome everyone. Welcome and thank you if you were there at the premiere. That was, as you know, a very special song and took us a long time to make that one, but actually editing the video didn't take a crazy amount of time. It's just more, the reason it's like coming out a year after it was actually filmed is just because we want to do all of our videos in order, and so we were so behind that it's taken this long. We're like a year behind in our video flow, but over this winter we're probably gonna be caught up. Most likely we might be scrambling at the end like, oh, we don't have anything. So yeah, so if you're there at the premiere, thank you so much for watching that, and I hope you enjoyed it. It was a very intimate thing to share. The land that you saw, the river, the fields, the valley, the forest, the creek, that's all where I grew up, this crazy little child with weeds and mud and, you know, just like, crazy kid of the woods. And that you know, my bones are made of that place. And so it was very special to do that video there, and thank you for all your time.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to do. It's a beautiful place. I was really happy to see the place where you grew up, and yeah, it's a nice experience working on that video, and we had so much material to work on over the winter to tell the story of what happened, you know, all the way till here. Can't wait. The idea is that by the time we are living here, we are caught up with everything, and hopefully ahead. So the Alaska to Argentina journey will be up to date, and we'll be able to be updating everyone as we go.
Yeah. I'm gonna check into the comments here. Dave wants to know if it's chilly. Oh yeah, we got enough data for what's going on and where we are and why we are bundled up like this. Alfredo de Juan is here. Haha, hi. Oh, my papa and my mama are here. They just watched the video.
Awesome.
I hope you enjoyed
I hope you guys liked it.
Oh, and Alyssa's here. Hi. Hey, chica. Awesome. Yeah, so keep sending in, if you guys have any questions while we're talking, just send them in, and if we don't catch them on the screen here, I'll catch them on the screen down here.
Yeah, why don't you pass me the laptop? I could be closer to it, reading the comments.
Okay, and we've got like extra room over here. Well, we're a little lopsided today, that's okay. It's alright. Being lopsided is alright. Yeah, okay, so if you've been following on Instagram, you know that we are finally in Alaska. Michael, hey! Oh, our Patreon crew is all showing up today. This is awesome. Hey, guys. And thank you for that kind comment,
Yeah.
Michael.
Michael Andrade, sir, is lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
We tried to do our best with this video, and it was very
It's
special
hard
for
when it's
Cora.
that personal. When it's that personal, you can't, like with Here We Listen, I was just like, that's a cool shot. That's a cool shot. And like Wander and Chan Chan, it was like you can just be like more creative. But when you care so much about it, it's really hard. You know, it's like it almost impedes the creativity too much. And you're just like, I want it to be perfect. And then, you know. But, so yeah, so if you've been following Instagram, you know that we are in Alaska. Bobby Bus made it. She did not pull any crazy drama
Yeah.
on the way up, which we're so grateful for. As you might remember, that was a huge thing in our heads when we were down in Mexico, deciding whether we should do the engine rebuild or not. And we saw this damaged inside one of the cylinders, and we were like, the guys were like, you know, it's gonna run. It's just eventually it's gonna start burning oil. And we're thinking, I don't know if we want to drive this thing up this highway that we know there's like no services for a long time. And if you get a tow, or if you're like going up a mountain and all of a sudden, and we know that there's something wrong in there, and then we get a tow, we could like be dealing with half of the cost of the rebuild just to move it from point A to point B, and we're like, so.
And if something like that happened on the Alaska highway, depending on where it happened, could have been a long tow, because there's some areas where there's nothing for hundreds of miles.
Nothing. Yeah. So we're like, and the bus, you can't just tow it with you need a wrecker to tow this thing.
Yeah.
So we were like, ugh. So that was a big thing in our brain, you know.
Yeah, but the bus was running great. When it started to get in colder, we just experienced just a minor leak. And luckily one night we were just parked to another full-time RVer who happened to be a diesel mechanic. So I asked him about that leak, and he was like, that's kind of normal from this kind of engine. It was just a little leak out of the oil cooler. It seems like when it gets cold, the seals expand and contract with the cold. And if it gets too cold overnight, it tends to leak. So the guy said it's common. Just keep watching it. Nothing to worry about. It shouldn't happen when you're at normal temperatures. And that's what it was. I mean, on the drive over here when it was hot, there was no leak. It only started happening when that happened. But like I said, nothing to worry about. And yeah, no flat tires, nothing. So it's really, really awesome. No drama.
No drama. It was great. So yeah, so we were able to get a lot of footage and a lot of photos, and we were moving so fast because we didn't want to get caught in the snow that we just had to keep moving every day. And so that's why on Instagram, Alfredo de Juan, you pointed this out the other day. He was like, wait, you're in British Columbia, and then you were in Yukon, but now you're doing something from British Columbia again. What's going on? I was like, oh, because we're behind in getting our stuff out. So this we've gotten so much footage and so many photos that, but we had to keep moving. We didn't have a lot of time to be producing,
Right.
like taking all that footage out of the drone and putting it in the computer and editing it to music and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So
just you know, so beautiful that when we were on our way here and we were in Alberta, since we entered Banff and Jasper National Park, it was just like every day we gotta get out of the bus and explore because it was just amazingly beautiful. And then when we were on the highway, we just like stop and go because we wanted to document everything and also take the time to enjoy the journey.
hmm
And even if we wanted to be posting things, we couldn't because there was no signal most of the way.
yeah,
And when we had signal, it was like very slow and very sporadic. You know, sometimes there was a little bit of signal in some of the towns that we went through, and sometimes no signal at all.
Have you guys ever seen the movie RV, Robin Williams? There's a point where I was like watching it while I was doing dishes the other night, and I was just cracking up because there's this point where he's like he has to send off something for work, and he's like trying to get the signal with his phone, and he's like, God, and he gets on top of the rig and he's like reaching as hard as he can, and it's like beep 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 beep, fail, and he's like, oh, he eventually has to like climb a mountain to like get it up, and then it's like zing, and off it goes, and he's like, it's the biggest triumph to like. So that was definitely us when we were on the the videos that you're seeing on Instagram right now. We couldn't have even posted them if we wanted to because you can see how remote it is. It was like nothing. We were just on radio silence. We were out of comms.
But that was the beauty of it, you know, being in beautiful places like that when you don't have the distraction of the internet. It really helps you to suck it all in even more than if you have, you know, cell phone signal and you get distracted by emails and so many other things. It's just good to enjoy nature and just focus on that because it was just like so beautiful.
Yeah.
So you guys will see, and you've seen already in some of the stuff that we post on Instagram. Yeah, I think anyone who love nature should enjoy that and experience that at least one time. You know.
Yeah, it's a great road trip. Michael said something really beautiful here. Oh, so Michael said, and even looking at GPS maps and researching routes doesn't show everything that you could encounter, for sure. It's always different being there on the road.
Yeah.
The thrill of adventure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And there's always those extra roads and paths that you didn't plan on going, but if you're nearby, you can get out and explore a little bit. And you meet other travelers that tell you about all the side things, but it's impossible to do everything.
Yeah, everybody's like, you should go up this way, you should do this. And we're like, ah.
Yeah, everyone was asking us like, oh, so you guys going south? No, we're going north. And it's like, really? You're going to Alaska in the winter? And anyway, they will say, well, on the way here, there's a side road. Side road takes you to this awesome place. It's only 150 miles, but it's beautiful. You know?
We're like, oh, in the bus.
And we're like, yeah, that sounds great. But if we deviate 150 miles, not only takes more time to get to where we're going, we needed to be here, you know, before it got too cold. But also gas. I mean, gas is crazy expensive here right now. I know in the continental US it's a little cheaper, but Canada and Alaska is still above $5.50.
Yeah.
A gallon for
But on the
diesel.
highway it was crazy.
Even
on the
more
Alcan,
expensive.
I think the highest we paid one day, we paid $9.80 a gallon at one stop. We're like, what? I'm sorry, but I mean, what do you do? And there's like no other gas station for like 100 miles in either direction. You don't. I mean, that's why it was so expensive on that stretch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little crazy, but we did the calculation. And we realized if we went all the way south for the winter and then came all the way up next season and then went all the way back down, we were going to pay way more than that. So it's all like worked out better in the end the way we did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be nice that we're gonna have this time to be able to process all this footage over there, because we want to get to do at least one experimental film over the winter, and but it's also to have the post to be in one place. And last winter staying in Cape Cod was beautiful, because we had the time basically all to ourselves, because we were kind of remote in a community that most people leave for the winter. But here, most people stay, uh, and it seems like there's a lot of activities over the winter, so we'll be a little bit more part of this community.
More social.
I'm actually next Tuesday joining the community band for the winter. They already started to practice for a Christmas concert on December 3rd. So I'll get 4 week of practice with the band. They get together every Tuesday. So we'll be documenting a lot of these things for the coming up YouTube videos. But you guys won't probably see that until sometime in the spring, because we're gonna be doing everything in chronological order as everything happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be documenting a lot of the things that happen here.
Yeah. So Alfredo de Juan says a little bit worried you don't get to Alaska before the first snows, but I understand, Jose, that those landscapes must be crazy for photographers. And
Yeah.
Tracy said it's such a blessing to get to experience all the beauty of your travels from the comfort of my own home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's what we love about it, you know. It's like we get to bring everybody with us.
Cora was trying to prep me, to tell me how beautiful it was here, that it was gonna be crazy with the photography, and that is true, you know, because it's just so beautiful. But I wasn't aware of how amazing everything is and how close you are to all those beautiful things on the way over here. For example, we stopped by on the side of the road just to eat, right next to a glacier. I mean, you can see it right there from the windows of the bus. You know, like I never knew we were gonna experience that. I knew there were tons of glaciers here, but I thought that we had to hike to every glacier to actually see the glaciers from the windows of the bus. And the first one we saw was actually in Jasper National Park. Was it Matanushka Glacier, right?
Matanuska is here in Alaska.
Oh, what was the name of that one? The
oh no, the no. It's coming off of the Columbia ice field.
Yeah, anyway.
I forget what it's called.
That glacier was amazing, and we could see it from the parking lot, because that's one of the most visited glaciers in the world, because they're so easily accessible.
Yeah.
Right? So when I saw that, I was like, wow. And I thought that in Alaska, I hear everything is more remote and things like that. I thought that if I was going to see another glacier, I would probably have to hike to get to see it. And then we just park right next to that glacier, and you can actually see the cracks on the ice and the blue part, you know, the toe of the glacier, and the beautiful mountains already kind of snow cover at the peaks. And we were just eating our lunch over there with that amazing view. and then we're just parked next to bodies of water, either being lakes or rivers, and it was just amazing. And we got here, and it was like a good welcoming, because it was sunny. And most of the travelers that we met on the way down were telling us that most of the places they went to, they got to visit them during rainy days. And then we understood what they were talking about, because right after that, it was just raining non-stop. It's crazy.
We got un caro saludo de la Taglia. Bienvenuto! I hope I said that right. Welcome from Italy. Wow. Alyssa says, woohoo, Chris's band! And the geology. Oh god, yeah. Geology. Oh.
Yeah, so I guess we could go for hours talking about
yeah.
But we're gonna try to do the best to convey our emotions and our experience through our videos.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we get to do voiceover, try to explain everything better on the videos, and when we talk to the camera, just like this, I tend to rumble a lot.
You ramble? What? I ramble too.
But yeah, so I think those videos are gonna be beautiful, paired together with the narration paired together with the footage that we capture, and
Yeah.
and the next music videos they're gonna come out of some of the places that we film on the way here.
Yeah. Some really cool spots. Michael, oh, you guys drove up the coast a couple weeks to Point Arena, about 4 hours. Oh yeah, I mean, where you guys are living, to be that close to just the coastal highway, you know, where you can pop over or just be up in the mountain. I mean, there's so much that you can do in your state where you guys are from. Can't wait to come down and see you guys. We have we've basically decided when we, at the end of next year, whenever we get finally down into California, there's so many people to see, there's so much to do there. We're like, we're just gonna be there for a bit. We understand that before we cross over to Mexico for good. So we'll have some good time to hang out. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So, before we tell you exactly where we are with the bus in Alaska, I just wanted to share one little story, another movie reference. You know that part in Independence Day where everybody's trying to get out of the city, and is it Jeff Goldblum and his dad are like the only schmucks trying to get in? That was us on the Alaska highway. All these RVs are coming south, like everybody's going south, and we're the only schmucks trying to go north. It was really great.
Yeah, we saw a few schoolies, school buses, converter school buses, you know, getting
going
out.
down, and everybody's like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Same expression from everyone.
Yeah.
Wow, but do you guys know it gets cold over there, right?
So there was that. There were two things that we had tension about that we were moving forward towards. It was, one was like we want to get over the passes before any snow or ice hits them, and we Hail Married on that one. Oh my gosh, to get over the pass. What was that pass called? Oh, I forget the pass, but the first the first big pass. It didn't really feel big when we went over it, but in Alaska, the night before we got there, it had iced over. And then the day that we were getting to it, the sun had come out and zapped away that ice, and we were able to, like, that night, did we? No, we did it that day, yeah. We did it that evening. The day, like, in the evening after the sun had zapped all the ice away, we're like, woohoo! So that was one of the things, was like we wanted to get to, you're looking up the name of the pass? Yeah. We wanted to get into Alaska and over the passes before anything got slippery. The other thing that was in our brain, though, that you don't know, is that we were not 100% sure we were going to have a place to stay until literally the day after we arrived in Alaska. We had talked, Colin over here at where we're going to stay over the winter, awesome guy, and he is letting us stay in his cabin because he is going all the way to Antarctica this winter to work on a research vessel. Really cool. And so he hadn't gotten the complete go-ahead on his medical clearance. Like, he had these, like, boxes that he had to check in order to make sure he was good to go on the expedition. And he was like, there's not going to be any problem. I don't have any issues. But they just haven't given me the green light yet. So he was very clear with, just so you know, if for some crazy reason I don't get the green light, then I'm not going to Antarctica, and then I'm going to stay in my cabin. And we're like, well, if in normal circumstances, you would just, okay, we're not going to drive all the way up there unless we know, but we couldn't wait like that because we had to get out before the first snow.
Yeah.
So we were just driving like
I think the pass you were thinking about is the
Mantasta.
Mentasta Pass.
Yeah, Mantasta Pass.
And then there was another pass, the Matanushka Pass.
The Manduska, yeah. So we were just like going and we're like, we're just believing that this is going to pan out. Because there's some other options. There was like one other place we could stay, but it wasn't the ideal situation for all our goals this winter. And we're just like, we're just hoping. So we were a little nervous. It wasn't until, no, it was right before we crossed the border that I got enough signal, ding, 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 on my phone. And then, whoop, there was the email from Colin saying, hey, I got the green light. You're good to stay in my cabin. We're like, good. Because we're here. It was a little, yeah, it was a little hairy. But we got here, and should we share where we are and why we're in hats?
Sure. Yeah, I found the glacier, the Athabasca Glacier is the one that we saw in the Columbia side field in Canada. That was really amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry with the names. I just got up because it's early over here, and yeah, there's so many names of places that we visited. It's kind of hard to keep up.
Yeah. Luckily, our phones like geotag everything now, so we're like, where was this? And just your phone tells you. It's like, oh, thank you, phone.
Yeah, and a lot of these glaciers have native names, so they're not familiar names.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Tracy.
What?
Adapt and Thrive, a bumper sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No kidding. Absolutely. Road trip of faith. Yeah. Yeah. If there, I mean, yeah, you just kind of, there's a whole lot of just jumping off a cliff that we do, to be honest. It's just choosing to do Alaska in the winter was a leap of faith because we had to drive this direction before we even knew if we had a place to stay. And then even once we did have probably a place to stay, it was still just like this like leap of faith down this long road. But it all worked out. And that's the thing, it's like I've started to realize that, you know, imagine it hadn't worked out. Well, then something else would work out. You know, the one thing we do know is that we're not going to end up in some field frozen away in the bus, like icicles, like, you know, like something will come up. If we get here and all the other opportunities fell out, just by being here and talking and meeting people, we would find something. So everything always works out in the end, you know. So we're here. We're cold. I want to kind of like show what the bus looks like right now because we're like. So our actual current location at this moment in time, we are in. We're in Seward, Alaska, which is our destination. We are parked right next to the cabin where we are going to stay this whole winter.
We will show you, but the sun hasn't come up yet. It's dark outside.
It's nighttime still, even though it's the morning.
Yeah, it's 8.
Actually, there's a little bit of light.
Yeah.
It's like.
So it's 8:33 in the morning over here, and the sun doesn't come up until 9:15 a.m. So we're about to have our sunrise, I believe. Yeah, sunrise today is at 9:16 a.m.
Yeah.
So in about.
It's just the kind of like lightly.
It's about 40 minutes.
So we're here, and so Colin takes off for his expedition on Tuesday. So our day for moving into the cabin, we're going to do the whole shift on Tuesday. And so we got here about almost a week ago to Seward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had planned to just park the bus here in town for the week and then bring it up here on the 1st.
And oh my God, the RV park that is in town, there's like 3 or 4 RV parks right in town, and there's only one that they allowed camping over the winter, and it's cheaper. This town is supposed to be very expensive in the summertime because a lot of people come up here. This is
For
where
good
cruises
reason.
come
It's
to.
beautiful.
It's just amazing. And all the campgrounds are right next to the water. And you can see the mountains all around you. And when we park the bus, we park head in, and then you're like literally right next to the water. There's tons of bald eagles flying around and fishing, which is amazing.
I was like, there are eagles. I was
I
like, wait, look, those are eagles.
mean, like 10 feet away from the bus, they're almost
Yeah.
like just flying right in front of the bus. And
Crazy.
when you're sitting over here and you look through the windshield, all you see is the water. And then the day that we parked, it was very windy, so the bus was rocking, from the wind. And you see on the windshield, and you see water, so it feels like you're on a sailboat.
We were like, we're on a yacht. It was great.
So it's so cool because we had these side curtains closed. We only had the front curtains open, and then you see water, and the bus is rocking. It's like, oh, this is awesome. Feels like we're on a
We're like
on a sailboat.
a simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we parked there for a couple of nights, and then Colin called us and said, "Hey guys, looks like the temperature is gonna drop, and if you guys want to come and park the bus before the snow comes, you're welcome to come." And so we did. The very next day, we moved over here, and just an hour after we parked, it started snowing. Yeah.
I was saying, and you'll see this on the YouTube video eventually when it comes out. I was like, if that is not sliding into home base at the last minute or like the last hour, I don't know what is. Because we got over every pass, and then like snow would fall, or the pass would ice over. We'd get over, and then getting here and getting the bus up, like, because there's a hill to come up to this place. There's 2 hills you got to come up. And getting, like, we get to Seward. We're only here for a day before all of a sudden it's like you look at the temps and the weather, and it was just like, okay, tomorrow's starting. We're gonna have snow. It's gonna be icy. The temperature's just gonna like start plummeting. And we get the bus up here, up the hill, park it in her little spot, and then not even an hour later, snow.
Yeah.
And the roads everywhere just turned to like icy slush. I was like, I cannot believe how perfect that is. Like, we literally soaked up every minute of this drive from Marathon to here. Every single minute that we could, we soaked it up, and we lived it, and we documented it, and we got the bus parked up on blocks right at the last minute.
Yeah. And based on what the locals were telling you, the cold snaps came a little earlier this year. It's supposed to be a little early for the snow and cold temperature, but that's winters now with climate change. It's hard to anticipate what's gonna happen. So we were lucky that we were here and we're still able to live in the bus for the entire month until like we got over here. And then it would have been difficult not to be here because, as you know, this bus is not wasn't built to be able to live in it during the winter, which means that we have to winterize it. Empty the water tanks and blow all the pipes. And we're so lucky that the cabin has another building, which is a shop where Colin does his projects, and he has a compressor, and the bus is parked right next to the shop, and there's a window right there where we could get the hose from the air compressor, and blow the pipes, and so everything worked out really well. Being able to leave the water in the tanks for as long as we could stretch it. I mean, the temperatures were dropping below freezing overnight, but our pipes were not freezing because we insulated them, and they can handle freezing temperatures nights. Like, I'm talking about, temperatures in about 28 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperatures can drop about to 28, 20, 26 maybe for a couple of hours, and our pipes still won't freeze, and our water in the tanks won't freeze. But if it stays below 32 throughout the days, like it is now, then they will freeze. So right now we don't have running water. Uh, we Cora's doing the dishes out of a bucket.
So yeah, so we had to blow the pipes out because the temperatures dropped. So for the last 5 days, we have been dry camping in our bobby bus, which has been interesting, but not too much of a difference. It's just, and, you know, the nice thing about having a composting toilet, that hasn't changed. So it's really nice that our toilet system is just. We took our last showers about five days ago.
No,
4?
3 days ago.
3?
Yeah.
3 days ago is when we blew out the lines.
Mm-hmm.
Time travels slower when you're not leaving.
Yeah.
I haven't changed out of these clothes in like 1, 2, 3, 4 layers.
I mean, it's not super cold. Temperature right now is about 30 degrees or 31 degrees, but it drops down overnight to 24. I think the other day it dropped down to 17 degrees. So and we're living in a tin can basically. So
Yeah.
it can get very chilly.
And the other thing we don't like is because we're living in a tin can, we got a lot of condensation.
Yeah.
So we don't like this because it's not good.
So luckily we're connected to shore power, so we have a little electric heater that we have it going all day, and we have our propane heater that does an amazing job heating the place. I mean, it just heated up really quick, but our propane tank is not very big, so we had to watch it to not burn too much, and also propane is a very wet heat, so creates a little more of the humidity here, more condensation. So it's kind of tricky. So we turn the propane on and off to save propane because the bus is in place now. We're not gonna move it. So if we run our propane, that wouldn't be good for us right now.
So we're here and we are moving into the cabin on Tuesday.
Like I said, I lost track of my showers too.
We do too. You know, when you live together, you know, if you're out somewhere remote. So we move into the cabin on Tuesday. So we have only just 2 days left living in the bus, and then we make the shift. And then we will be there. The studio, I'm going to use the studio throughout the winter, so I'll still be out here quite a bit, but everything will be kind of shut down, and I'll just be using that space in the back.
That's a great thing about this location that we chose to stay in, because we had an option of staying in Talkeetna. It's a smaller town, very near Denali National Park, and it's beautiful there and everything, but it's very cold. You know, the town is basically right next to the Denali National Park, and it seems like that area gets the Arctic air that makes the temperature drop to -50, even -60, sometimes over the winter, and they get tons of snow as well. So it's easy to get buried in snow over there and to experience extreme temperatures, something that doesn't really happen over here. Temperature is a little more mild because we were right next to the ocean, and that was very, very important for us because we didn't want the bus to be experiencing those kind of extreme temperatures.
Yeah. So, I want to kind of show what it looks like when we're dry camping. There was something else that I wanted to say too, but I forget. Oh, so we were thinking, so it's dark right now, so we can't really show you where we are. But we were thinking next weekend when we do another live stream, we'll be live streaming from inside the cabin. So then we'll be able to show you guys the cabin. We'll be able to show you where we are, and
it still will be dark.
It will still be dark, but I was thinking maybe next week we could
An hour
schedule
earlier?
it. We could schedule it
An
later
hour
in the
later.
day. so that instead, because for most of you guys, this is kind of like mid-morning or afternoon. So what do you think? Let us know. What do you think if we were to do this instead next week at like what would be about 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Eastern would be 4 Central. That's still
For light to be out, if we want to show the space, we have to do it instead of doing it at noon Eastern time. It had to be at 2 p.m. to get 2 extra hours because
Yeah.
this next week, I mean, it's getting darker and darker and darker. As you know, we are in the very up north, so the sun probably won't be coming out until 9:30 by next week.
Yeah. So we'll schedule it like maybe 3 hours later, 2 or 3 hours later.
Yeah, because it's beautiful.
Because we'd love to like take you around and show you the property and show you where we are, show you where Bobby is parked, so you can see kind of like the situation and see the cabin where we're gonna be.
We should be
Dave says
settling by
anytime
then.
works for me. Yeah, so let's like tentatively plan for 3 hours later than we normally do this. Alyssa says, nope, that's way too cold. Yeah, that's what we thought too, and we heard like 40 below. We're like, no. And Trace, yeah, we do care for Bobby like she's our baby. She is, and she's the princess. She's the star of the show, and she's the princess of the show, and she, we have to. Basically, everything goes into her, but that's like any home, For everybody, it's like their home is their biggest investment and the thing that takes up a lot of their free time and maintenance and care and home ownership ain't no joke. Yeah, Fred Juan just brought up the Northern Lights.
We got a story about that.
Woo! Do we have a story?
Yeah. So first, you guys know this is something we'll learn actually on the way here, and was Dawson Creek or no? Watson Lake in Yukon. On the way over here, we stopped at the visitor center, and we met these two ladies that are super friendly, and we were talking about our experience coming over here, and I was maybe seeing the Northern Light, and somehow one of the ladies started talking about how they, in the winter, a lot of Japanese people come to visit Canada and Alaska because they come in to see the Northern Lights because they believe that is that is good to conceive.
It'll help you conceive.
Yeah.
If you do it underneath the Northern Lights.
Yeah, so you have a higher chance of conceiving a baby if you do it under the Northern Lights. So that kind of, it's an interesting fact that, things that you learn. And then we get to Coin Lake, and sure enough, there was a camp on the beach of Japanese people in their tents and tons of cameras with their tripods, so they were there to photograph. I'm not sure if they were there to conceive, but we're just joking about it, that they probably had their tents too close to each other. So that was the first time we saw the Northern Lights, like really beautiful, because we kind of briefly saw them in Ontario over the summer, which was kind of bizarre for me. I thought that they were only visible in the winter. But we got to see a little glimpse of them in Ontario, Northern Ontario. But in Coin Lake in Yukon, which is beautiful, which I posted on Instagram a photo recently. But just about a week ago, we got an spectacle over here where we're not expecting it. We were parked on the side of the road on this beautiful, it's called the Turnagain Arm. It's a beautiful place with mountains and kind of crazy fluctuations in tide, which makes it, super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just outside of Anchorage, about 45 minutes outside of Anchorage on the way over here. And before going, Cora was already sleeping, and I've been watching the weather because it has been raining, but we had 2 days that was like blue skies almost all day and all night. So I keep like poking my head on the windows and like cleaning the condensation because I didn't want to open the windows to let any cold come in the bus. And then I was about to give up and going to bed. And I said, maybe I had to brave it and come out of the bus and look for them. But before I did that, I opened one window over there and stick my head out, and there it was, the Northern Lights.
But they were kind of like faint.
Yeah,
They were like kind of on the horizon, just kind of like, just faintly peeking out. And I was like,
So I called Cora. Hey, Cora, come check out the Northern Lights. And Cora comes out all sleepy, stick her head out of the window, and she was, oh, awesome.
I'm
She
going
went
back
back
to
to
bed.
bed. And then she was like, are you going to take a picture with the bus? Because we had the bus over here. It was perfect because the Northern Lights were there. There was a parking lot over here. The water was over there. So I had enough space to get the lights with the bus. And I'm like, we're going to be here for a long time. So we'll probably see them again. And then I say, you know what? Don't be lazy. Just bundle up, because it was very cold outside. I think it was like 30 degrees. So I put my jacket on and you get more layers on, get out with my camera. And by the moment I got out, it was like an explosion of the lights, because it started like growing and going in different shapes and dancing in the sky. And I was like, I have to go get Cora. So I left the camera out there and I ran to the bus and I was like, Cora, you gotta get out, bundle up, and you gotta see this. And when she came out, that's when it was the most spectacular. So it was just like
It was
beautiful.
so cool. It was like he like pokes me again. Wait, you gotta see this. And I'm like, okay. And
I'm talking about this was around 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So I come out and it was like there was like it was going on this side of the sky. So it was like it was doing that cool thing. But then we were like directly underneath like, oh, Luis and Trini are here. Hola!
Hola!
It was like, it was cotton candy and somebody had taken a chunk of it and spread it. And it was like just stretched in this arc across the sky. There was just like this like whole swath that was just stretched and it was directly above us. And I just like we looked up and it was just like this right above and it was bright green and I was just like, wow. Wow. I mean, it felt like it was right there. Oh, it was just so cool. Yeah. So he goes off with the camera and he's step. And I'm a baby about the cold. So I come inside and I grab a comforter. And I'm like, and I just sat in the lawn chair out there just like, wow.
Yeah, it was
so cool.
Luis, estamos hablando de la aurora boreales que vimos aquí en Alaska. Estuvieron espectaculares hace como una semana. Yeah, es una experiencia increíble.
Yeah.
Sí.
Tenemos fotos, tomé fotos, Luis también.
Yeah.
Tomó fotos.
Yeah. So the awesome thing is that there's a website that has a forecast for the Northern Lights. It tells you when there's expected to be a lot of solar activity. So we've been watching it, and I mean, of course, everything depends on where you are, and also if you have clear skies. So when the first time we saw Coin Lane, which is the picture that I posted the other day on Instagram, that day was kind of cloudy, so it wasn't as spectacular. It was still beautiful, but nowhere near to what we just saw about a week ago. And the place where we are right now, we actually are near dark sky areas because the town is not very big. So it's just a short drive to the mountains next to the glacier, exit glacier. And I'm pretty sure over there, there will be some beautiful northern lights. And if I'm watching the forecast website, so I'll be able to time it and go there a few times while we're here.
Mm-hmm. Time change. Do we know when the time change happens?
I think sometime this weekend. I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Didn't it happen already? I think it happens right after Halloween. Maybe next weekend.
I never know. I always know what's happened when I've missed something, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, you guys want to see what dry camping in the bus looks like? It's not really that much different, except for we have water stashed everywhere. And it's just a little messy. It's starting to get light out there, kind of, but it's not light enough yet to really see.
Yeah.
So we'll just...
Yeah, you can show them around.
I'm going to lift you guys up.
Messy mode.
I'm going to lift you guys up, and sorry for the... I apologize for the brief wonkiness, you know. So you can see here, there's our water storage. We've got 12 gallons that we're just kind of refilling our system. There's Jose. And so over here at the sink, obviously the water is shut down, so the faucets aren't working. So we've got like a water reserve here, and let me do this better. There we go. And then the dishes. I haven't done the dishes from last night. Yeah, I didn't do the dishes last night, so I have to do them this morning. So we've got a water reserve there, and then I think that was a welcome wagon Northern Light show. It was like, here's a preview of what's to come. So in our pantry here, these are all, we've filled these all up with water. And with that, we have water for cooking and coffee and everything. And Jose set up this nifty little, he's a handy guy. So he was like, I was just going to do dishes in this inside the sink. And he was like, no, wait, why don't I just remove the U-bend? We'll just put a bucket down here. And the water, you can just do the dishes in the sink like normal, and then we'll just empty the bucket and just not forget to empty that bucket so we don't have water overflowing. So we've just been doing that, doing dishes here. We also got some paper plates so that we don't have as many dishes to do. And then every now and then I just throw the water outside. And this is just really temporary. And we could have stayed in a little cabin. Folks here are just awesome. Colin was like, I've got a buddy who says you can stay in his place. It's got a heater, it's got running water. You don't have to suffer away in the bus. And we were like, you know, that's a really sweet, kind offer. But honestly, since we're just kind of pumping away at the work right now, it's just so much easier for us to be in our space. We got access to the hard drives. Yeah, it's just like, you know, moving, you know, you forget like, oh, do I have the toothbrush? Do I have this? Is this? And then when you need to get something that you forgot, you have to drive all the way back to the bus. And we were like, nah, we just prefer to stay.
Yeah, but yeah, we don't have to carry all hard drives and things like that. And then we have to be worrying that those electronics will get too cold.
Yeah.
So at least if we're here, we can at least keep the bus above 50 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, the bus has been staying around 55 degrees overnight, 55 degrees overnight. And then during the day, we keep it around 65 degrees. And it's just a few days. I mean, today's Sunday, Tuesday, we're moving into the cabin.
I just realized I can turn the camera around. Ooh. Ooh. She's moving up in the technological world. Yeah, so you can see, we're just camping right now. It is not in its HGTV mode. Last night we made bread, so we're keeping warm, we don't want to just burn propane. Just, you know, we might as well, if we're going to be burning propane, we might as well have the oven going. So last night I made banana bread, a couple loaves of bread. Jose made chicken thighs. Here's a little bit better view of our dishes situation. But yeah, Tracy was saying that's a smart dishwashing system. Yeah, it works. It works. I heat up some water with the kettle, throw it in there, keep my hands from freezing. And yeah, there's a tripod that we had you guys on. And yeah, we're just kind of...
Heater.
There's the heater. And Jose just last night finished up the edit for the next story video. So we're thinking not this weekend, not the next week, the weekend that's coming up, we're gonna do another live stream and show you guys the cabin, and then the weekend after that we'll have that video going out.
Yeah,
And just
next Sunday the time will change.
oh yeah, so we're
November
gonna
6th.
oh okay, that's good to know. That's the day of the premiere. The
Yes.
day
Yeah,
on
but
Sunday.
it changes at midnight. So.
Oh well, okay, yeah. So we're kind of getting ahead on the videos, so that's good. And the plants are doing all right. They're kind of shocked. They're in shock. They're like, "What's going on? Why is it so cold?" But they're about to be in the warm cabin, so we're good.
It changed on Sunday at 2 a.m.
Gotcha. All right, so I think that's where we'll leave you guys. I think maybe before we go, I'll just at the very end, I'll just kind of walk outside, and so you can just see the twilight that we're in right now in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then next weekend we'll show you the whole place and the cabin, and you'll see where the bus is parked. It's perfectly parked behind the shop. It's like she fit perfect. She was just like, "Yep, I'm good. This is where she'll be for 5 months."
Yep.
Yeah. And maybe next time we can talk a little bit about what our goals are over this winter, what we're our main checklist stuff.
Yeah.
So
but you guys are gonna be in for a treat with all the videos coming out.
Yeah.
All the stories from last year, basically.
Yeah.
The murals, the workshops.
Yep.
And the beautiful scenery that we experienced.
Yeah.
And the people we met. So it's gonna be a lot of storytelling over the winter.
Yeah. All right, guys, we love you. Thank you for hanging out with us for this hour.
Yeah, thank you for staying here, and hope you guys enjoyed the music video.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in for that. Meant a lot. So I'm gonna turn this camera around. Oh wait, everybody's saying thank you so much. Have a good thank you, Tracy, Christian, Alyssa, Michael, Dave, Luis,
see you next time, guys.
Alfredo de Juan. I hope I didn't miss anyone.
It was awesome hanging out with you guys today.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to attempt... Can you open the door for me, love?
Sure.
Let's see if we can do this in a coordinated fashion.
I'll let you push it as you go on, and then we'll close it behind.
Well, I'm not going to go all the way out. Behind those trees are just mountains, and there's our Bobby bus. More to come next week. Love you guys. Thank you for being here with us, listening to our rumbles. And we will connect with you next week. Have an awesome week, guys. Love you.